RoboForm is a powerful and secure password manager and web form filler. This video is going to walk you through the Identities feature, which can be used to quickly fill out long registration and checkout forms in one click of your mouse button. Now, after you've downloaded and installed RoboForm, head on over to the RoboForm button here in your RoboForm toolbar, and it might be in a different location depending upon the browser you're using, but right now I'm in the Firefox browser and it's the top left button in the RoboForm toolbar. You click on that and you come on over here to Identities and you can go to New or Edit an existing one. Or you can come on down here to Editor, click on that, and that exposes everything within your RoboForm program. And the Identities tab is the one I'm going to be talking about in this video. To create a new identity, you click on the plus icon here, give it a name, choose the country, and if you want to have that particular identity created in a different directory other than the home directory, then just come on over here and create a new one by clicking on this icon, or select one that you may already have. For example, if you're creating multiple identities to make a couple extra bucks by filling out information on paid survey sites, then you might decide to create a directory called survey sites where you would keep all of your login credentials for those survey sites as well as all the identities that you're going to be using for those survey sites. Just an idea. But I would definitely make sure that all the information on all of my identities were protected behind my master password by checking that box there next to password protect. Now I've already created a couple of identities here, so I'm going to go ahead and cancel out of this. So once you have your directory named, then you have all of these available tabs that you just simply go through and fill in the information. A lot of it is pretty self-explanatory. Now whenever I select this particular identity and the information that I've already filled out, it's shown here in the overview section. And you can see here that under the person tab, this is the basic information that I have under that section here. Likewise under the business tab. Now since I do not have anything under the passport tab, it's not represented in the overview page. So of the items already filled out, you can edit that from the overview page by clicking on the pencil icon here to the right. Now if one of the forms that you are filling out on the web happens to have a field that is not covered by any of these tabs, that's where the custom tab comes in handy. More on that in just a minute. But basically between the custom tab and all of these default tabs, any form that can be thrown at you, RoboForm can fill those fields with just 1 to 2 clicks of your mouse button. Oh, and if you happen to be a software or application designer and you submit your software or applications to multiple directories, RoboForm's got something for you as well. Select the identity that you want to add your application information to. Come on up here to the More tab on the right column, because you've got another one over here. Come on up here to the More tab on the right column. Come over to Advanced and click on the App Upload. That adds an App tab to your identity, and you just simply fill in all the appropriate fields here, so the next time that you go to one of your software directories to submit your program to that particular directory, instead of spending minutes and minutes filling out each one of those fields, you're one mouse click away from filling in that entire form. Boom. And don't forget you've got the custom tab here to cover any fields that are asked on that form that are not answered with this particular form here. And if you wanted to replicate this particular identity, but maybe make a couple of minor changes, here's a quick way you can do that. Instead of going through creating a new identity and then going in and filling in all these blanks again, you simply select that ID that you want to clone, then come on up here to the More tab on the left column, click on Clone, give it a new name, and now you have an exact replica of this particular identity where now you can just go in and make some minor changes. Maybe you want to change the business name, the email address, the phone number. You just go right to it. And whatever changes you make, be sure to click on the Save icon up here to apply those changes. Otherwise, they won't take. Now, if you do any online banking or online purchases, then you might want to go ahead and have your credit card information in here as well. But what if you've got multiple credit cards, you only have the one tab? No problem, we got you covered. Right now, I've only got my Discover card information in here. But let's say I want to add my Visa and my American Express card in here as well. Select that tab, come on up here to New Credit Card, select that, click on New, give it a name, click on OK, and now we've got an additional instance under that particular tab. The same thing holds true with bank accounts, address, passport, business, and so on. Now, one thing to be aware of when you do add credit card or banking information or any additional sensitive information like your social security number, for example, you want to be careful in how you submit this info to these different forms. Let's head on over to RoboForm and check out some of their test sample forms, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Go to roboform.com, go to How It Works, go to Tutorials, then go here under Identities, click on Tutorial. And this gives you some additional information too that may cover some things that I didn't cover in this particular video. But down here at the bottom is the sample form filler. That's the basic one. You've got one that represents online shopping, another one that represents all the fields, and this one represents the custom fields. And you can click on this link here to go to a tutorial that will answer all of your questions on how to create these custom fields. For example, marital status or ethnicity, these questions are not addressed in any of these other tabs. That's where a custom tab would come in handy. You can create the field name here. It has to be exactly the same as it is in the actual form. And the field value would be one of the answers you want represented by this particular identity, but it has to be exactly the same as one of the field values on the form. But things like other match strings and such can be better answered for you here under the Custom Fields tutorial. So be sure and check that out when you get a chance. Let's go ahead and give this form a test. Let's go to All Fields, Test Form. But this is how you want to do this securely and safely. Come on up here and hover over the identity name. Do not click on the identity name and do not click on Fill and Submit. Instead, you want to click on Fill Form. Oh, here we go. We've got a warning message that sensitive fields are going to be filled. And it tells you here that a social security number is going to be added. So go ahead and click on OK. But since we did not click on the ID name or the fill and submit, we just clicked on fill forms. It gives us the opportunity to go in and delete that information before it is actually submitted. So again, do not click on the ID name or fill and submit. Click on fill forms. Now here's something else too. Let's say I wanted to fill in the empty fields. In other words, in this case, Clark Kent's name is not going to be on this form. The Joe Tester stuff's going to be in here, but all the other details under the Clark Kent identity will be filled into the blank spots, only if that box is ticked. Fill forms. Again, we get the sensitive field pop up. This time it's the credit card number is going to be added. You see, the name was not changed, only the empty fields were filled in. And a couple of examples of the survey pages that I had mentioned earlier. One would be Inbox Dollars. Another would be CashCrate.com. Now these are just two of the zillion different paid survey pages out there. Each have their own pros and cons. If you're not familiar with using a paid survey site, spend a little bit of time doing some research before diving into this potentially money-making opportunity using the RoboForm Identities feature. But that's going to bring us to the end of this video on using the Identities feature in RoboForm. Thanks for watching, and you have a great day.